Hi there, I'm Char, and welcome back to the Simple Spells for the Home playlist. Welcome up to the studio today. It occurs to me that during the live stream, I talk a lot about how to prepare for things, like for the moons and for Sabbats and for things like that, but I haven't really focused a video on it yet. So I thought I would take the time today and just share with you how I prepare for the month of October. October is a very, very special month this year. It's 2020, and we have a full moon at the beginning of the month. We have a full moon on Halloween at the end of the month. We have this beautiful new moon space in between. There are a lot of planets that are aligned up. There are a lot of stars and everything. I'm not an astrologist, so I am not even going to touch on that. But with everything that's happening in the lunar cycle, that I do touch on. We are just off of a big full moon. And the magical thing about October is this is the time when the veil between the spirit world and the living world is at its thinnest. Samhain, 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 however you choose to say it. It's the time where communication with people who have passed is at its best point of the year. There's a reason Day of the Dead is celebrated, so that they can hear us celebrating them, so we can celebrate with them. And these kind of traditions I follow deeply in my home. So this month I do a lot of cleansing, smoke cleansing. This is my smoke cleansing pot right here. I have had this good 20-30 years. I have it just in a little tin so it doesn't get too hot for when I have big jobs to do. I do empty it out. It goes into my fire pit actually. I have a ceremony for everything that goes on in here, and then I release it all into my fire pit. But I do have this sitting on a charging plate, it's called. It's just a gold star. And that is, I carry it around my house, and the smoke cleans the area. Now, what do I burn? I grow sage specifically for altar purposes. So I grow it in my garden, I grow it in my house, I dry it out, I intend it. I also use bay leaves a lot in my magic. Can you see that? So this is just simple leaf you can get out of the spice department at the grocery store. And they're very powerful. So if you burn a bay leaf, be very careful because your fingers could be at risk. And you just put your intention to clear the air, to clear the atmosphere. And the wonderful thing about sage and bay is that they have antibacterial and antimicrobial properties in their smoke. So it literally cleanses the air. Little molecules in the air, this smoke literally cleanses. And what I love about bay leaf is it will smolder for a little bit and provide that smoke, but it's a nice, bright, refreshing smell, especially if you leave the room and then come back. So also with a lot of bay leaves, I will write ancestors' names on them, people who have passed, and honor them. And I will burn the bay leaf and I will say their name in remembrance, because a lot of the things about passing over is being forgotten. And so when you say their name, not just mom or dad, that you say their actual name, I remember you, these things, they get remembered, and the spirit acknowledges that you acknowledge spirit, if that makes any sense. So not only does it make my area smell wonderful, another smoke cleaning that you can do is with incense. Just with a stick of incense that you get from the store, and make sure you're safe and don't drop the coal or any hot ashes or burn your fingers or anything. So safety is the first utmost importance. But you can smoke cleanse your area. With the incense you can scent cleanse it with good things like patchouli is a good one. I like sandalwood. I like dragon's blood for certain things. It's very, very strong. My favorite is nag champa, just for as an overall scent clearing. So smoke has its own properties that does clear the air here. So I think I forgot to tell you a few things in between. I get so excited talking about stuff. Halloween's on the full moon. Oh, right. Cleaning the air in the dark time, in the new moon time, so that we can remember people. And in that dark time of the new moon, it's not a bad thing. The veil thins. So if you are seeing things out of the corner of your eye, if you are hearing somebody's voice like it's there, or like you just heard them yesterday, if you're smelling somebody that has been a part of your life, their perfume, the tobacco, body odor, a favorite food of theirs. If you find yourself craving foods that people before you have loved. What are others? Spirits and lights flickering. Favorite songs. Do you hear this deceased person's favorite song coming on often? Okay? Are you finding a disgust for foods that somebody else does not like? Are you finding a craving for foods that somebody has passed as their favorite, that you're close to? Now is the time of the year where this is going to be happening an awful lot. And if you're very sensitive, this year is going to be extreme. This year is going to be that times 10. What it has been in the past. And being a seeker and a speaker, the messages have been really intense coming up until now. So I thought it was very important to relay this information to people who may not really understand it or understand what's going on. So I just want to tell you that it is normal at this time of year if you're feeling energy shift, if you're feeling the excitement in the darkness, if you're hearing people calling to you that you have known that have passed on, or you want their food, or you can smell them. This is all very normal. And so what you can do during this time, if you are experiencing it, is you can do a smoke cleaning. You can also, if you're feeling scared or worried about it, you can ring a bell. This is just a brass bell I have. It actually has a snowflake on it. This is my little brass bell. I keep it on my altar. And so when spirits of family and friends that have passed have come to visit, sometimes others trail along, and it just happens. It just happens. So there is a way where you can keep your family, friends close to you. You say, I welcome you by name into my home to spend the time you need here. I send you spirits to the light that need to go. I send you lost souls to where you need to be. So whatever you choose to say, your heart will speak to you in this moment. So don't be afraid, and you need to say it out loud. It's not like that Phoebe moment in Friends, go to the light! It's not like that for me. I try to be gentle because I don't want to startle the spirits. I enjoy having that communication. Another thing that I do is I take my salt. So you can add your moon salt to your regular salt. It doesn't matter. I just take regular old salt and I will pour it on the outside of my door to prevent entities that you don't want from crossing your homestead line, from crossing your threshold. And as you're pouring that salt in front of your doorstep, this salt line is to keep out entities that are not welcome. Because you don't know who or what they are. You don't want to call on them either. So this salt line is just to keep out entities that are not welcome, to protect my homestead. Whatever feels good for you to say. But that salt physically draws a line on your doorstep, and it helps to prevent entities, spirits, things from entering that way. Okay? And you can always invite them to leave. I'm asking you to leave. It's time to go. Goodbye. So be it. So it is. So, I've done that before. So something that you can do when these things happen is not be afraid. If you don't want any part of it, ring your bell. Clap your hands. Go away. Spirits be gone. For me, however, when these things happen, like if I'm smelling somebody, for instance, my grandmother came to visit me, that was a couple years ago, and she stayed with me for almost 2 weeks. And I smell her often, but she just lingered with me. I went to the work, I went to dance, I went out, I was in different towns, I was with different people, and yet I still smelled her. So what you can do in these situations is just talk to them. Say, hey, how are you doing? It's been a long time since I've talked to you. It's really nice. Thank you for this opportunity again. And you know, the spirit voice comes through, and if you feel like you are having this conversation with this person in your head, like you can hear them talking to you, you can hear them answering you, allow that to flow. Allow those blockages and those walls and that hesitation and the questioning, the doubt, just allow all that to drift away. And you know, when you're having this conversation in your head, that's totally normal. That's having the conversation with the person. Feel good about it. Say what you need to say. Have the conversation. Oh, I got goosebumps. When that happens, you can also, you know, if you're worried about speaking something out loud and having this conversation out loud, do it in your head. Start off in your head and let the words flow, just like they're having that conversation with you, like it's a phone call. And then start speaking out loud so that, you know, it kind of develops that way. Another thing that I do is pen and paper journaling. Because sometimes if I feel I have a different presence that comes in and I need to write down the things that this person tells me. And it's usually in the form of a lesson. And it just random things that come into my head and I just write them down and I don't question it. You just write it down. Even if the sentence doesn't make sense to you, it's not for you to question. It is for you to be the messenger. And then you read it after and you see what you get from it. You know, and it might be something that totally makes sense to you. And it might be something that doesn't quite make sense to you yet. Another thing that I find sometimes helps if I feel things or people or things around is keyboard journaling. So you know where your fingers go on the keyboard. Just close your eyes and you have this conversation and you see what your fingers type out and you see what words come out of it. Because it's not the same. Having a conversation with spirit isn't the same as sitting down and having coffee with a friend. Spirit will talk to you in ways that are strange and unusual. It could be clear as day, as like, hey, how you doing today? It's good to see ya. But a lot of times spirit will come to you with messages in ways that are strange and unusual. And you just have to relax those boundaries to get to them. So there's throat sounds. Like sometimes I'll sit there and I'll just be like, oh. And with those sounds coming out, sometimes, I know it sounds strange, sometimes I find a pitch, sometimes, and you can tell when it's happening because it feels good. It's almost like a spirit voice. It feels good. It feels like a connection. That vibration in your throat resonates with somebody that you have had communication with prior. You'll find that fluctuations will follow their vocal patterns or tones. And that's what you have to relax and do. I cannot do it on video because it takes me a long time to get in there. It's a very meditative state that I do that in. If you're unsure about who is coming to visit you and you are interested in having these visits, just trust your gut and start talking about favorite things of people. And when you come to the point of something feeling more exciting or like a temperature difference, or you can feel a whoosh of air going by you, that's the spirit getting excited about what you're talking about. That's like, hey, I recognize that. Yes, that's it. That's me. That's who I am. Because they can't always show you their image. They can't always hear you their image. They can't always smell you their image. Right? So sometimes talking about their favorite things will get that happening where you'll notice things physically around you. In a still room, you'll feel some air like that. Like if you do that around you, you'll feel that. And it's just like little things. It's not like, oh, ba-da-da, here's a big announcement and fireworks for you. It's subtle little things. All right, what else do I have here? Always say thank you for your visit. If you are wanting to visit with deceased loved ones and they actually come to visit you and you have your conversation with them, thank them for their visit. It takes a lot from the spirit world to come through, and it takes a lot of effort on their part to be heard, seen, smelled, or likewise. All right? And it could be very confusing for them as well. Right? So if you're enjoying this, hey, give it a thumbs up. But say thank you for the visit. You can invite them to stay. You can invite them to come back. You can invite them to go. And just be like, you know what, this is really good and I have to process this, but you need to go right now. Thank you so much for your visit and I love you and I welcome you back. All right, just like you, if you were clearing out your house, getting the company to leave. So if you aren't happy or if you're scared or something you don't like, you ring that bell right away, clap your hands, shout, 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 do what you need to make that loud noise, bang it away. All right, you'll notice that's why I bang my cards. It's why I clap a lot. When I'm reading, that thing just sort of happens. So I really hope that this video has helped you out and just kind of put a few hesitations, thoughts, or self-doubts aside for you. And really, if you want to communicate with anybody that has passed along, they're there for you. They're listening to you. You just have to release your boundaries and let it happen. Okay? So we've covered what is entailed for this month with energies and the veil clearing and how to recognize signs about that and how to communicate and how to release. So I think we've covered all our bases here. Yeah, a thumbs up if you want to see more videos like this where I just kind of explain how I think things or how I do things in my witchcraft path. All right, you guys, I love you. Bright blessings, and I hope you have a pleasurable and enjoyable experience this October. I'll see you next time in the playlist.